Hi, I'm the recently dabble if you ain't first. This is my talking about the league. All right. It's been a while since I've been in the J. I'm going to do a quick catch up and I'm going to record this all for my podcast. So thank you guys all for listening. All right. Let's start off with the standings. Now, Quebec City had the clear lead in the season. And if you just look at their team, it's QQC always has a great lead. So let's just wait for this to load. No, 100, 200 point seasons. That's how you win a league. Now, their goals are great. Their plus minus is great. And that's just how you win. You need those players to stand out and perform. That's how you win in five. Now, Newfoundland had a great year. If I look at schedule, they did not make it all the way to the finals. They lost to, if I check this here, they went down pretty early, in fact. It looks like they went down to Anchorage. Yeah, they went down to Anchorage. Now, if we go back to Anchorage, yeah, look here. They went down to Anchorage in the second round, which is surprising because they did so well. I guess their team was just not built for the playoffs, but look. So let me go to team. Newfoundland. Let's try to break this loss down because that's a huge upset. And I haven't looked at this. First time looking at all this. Completely blind. That's a huge upset. And I used to be an Anchorage player, so I got some relations to that guys. All right, let's see. -3 from who is their top player? Regular season. First, let's start. The great one. This was their top line. Those three. The great one, 2 goals, 2 assists. All right, that's all right. And if I look at game rating, number one. So he performed. If I look at regular season, let's look. Amick Gallagher. Did he perform? And 14 points is all right. That's just fine. But look, -3, -3. This is your top line. It's -3. Great game rating, but I figure I'm missing the hard one. Yes. This is why their season ended. 64 game rating, 66 game rating, 53 game rating, 60 game rating, 57, 59. How are you supposed to win with that defensive game rating? You just don't win. And their decor. Their decor. If you look by game rating, decor. Their top 3 defensemen, all bottom game rating. If you look at the regular season, I bet that's not the case. It is pretty much the case. Well, they could be great regular season core, but let's see. Let's see his player. Let's bring this in the portal. How much TP do they have? This is one of the best defensemen. You don't win cups with 257 defensemen. Let's look at lines. L. Finnegan. Has they got ratings? And they had a 425. They have a good first core. They have a good first pair. But do they have depth? Do they have any depth? No. They do. They're not super deep on D. Let's see their second line centerman. This should be a 425, yes. So that's a 425. Their D-men really underperformed them. That's probably their undoing. Their defense as a whole was just awful, and that's why ANC upset them. Let's look at ANC. Let's just sort by game rating. They're around the same, but this is playoffs. Then they got basically swept, so this is kind of disputing it a little. But overall, as a team, this is a good exercise, real quick. Just what caliber of team was Newfoundland? Because if they were a great caliber team and they underperformed, that's one thing. But let's look at just how much TPE is on this roster on average. You got your calculator, and let's do the math. I mean, just look at all these 4-2-5 guys. This is their. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. That makes 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is. Then 350. Then 350 again. Then another 349. Then a 268. And a 257. 5,000 total TPE across 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14 players. The average TPE of this roster is 371. That's astronomical. 371 TPE is an insane amount. That's more than a. That's right. That's over the cap for second-year players. Over the cap. But look here, D 268, 257. Now let's look at Armada. Their bottom are 2 centermen. They have a bad D, but everything else is high. Like, just look at the numbers on this team. This team, much lower, just across the board. I don't even need to find their average. This is elite. This is elite. But it has holes. Hole. D-core just got obliterated. And that's how they lost. I mean, I thought we just look at regular season goals. Not fair. But dang, 5 fights. I don't even know how that happens. But let's see. QQC. This is hits, a defensive category. 1, 2 versus 4 QQC. That's how they win. Shots blocked. No QQCs. I mean, there's no and no Newfoundland, but still, power play goals, shorthanded goals, shooting percentage, shots. Just look at these categories, and you see a QQC player, and you see few ones. To me, this is a failure. There's got to be something went wrong here. In either roster construction, player build management, something didn't work here. Because when you look at QQC, domination. You see these just markers everywhere, plus minus. But Newfoundland, who's a similar quality team than QQC. If you look at the applied here, it's high, but they're about the same. I actually think the TP on QQC is less. Like, let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 max level players. 5 versus Newfoundland's Newfoundlands, at least 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Now, if I were to tell you blind, you have this team over here and this team over here. Which team would you take? I mean, just looking at CP numbers. Blind. You would take this team. I mean, they don't run out of 3. They're in 340s until the second worst player on the roster. QQC runs out of 340s less than halfway. This is lineup failure. This has to be something with new lines they're set or something like that, because if you just look at the tops, it's QQC. Every category, QQC. Something went wrong lineup wise or build wise. Either Newland Foundry's not building correctly or they're not line up properly, because there's no reason that these two teams should have even close to the same roster. Even close. I mean, conference wise, yeah, you could argue conference, but they're the same conference. They're the same conference, so you can't even argue that, really. No, Vancouver, the team I'm on, yeah, that's better, but they get trades. This is a failure. An objective failure. Don't know how else to describe that. Our runner-ups for the year. Let's see. Runner-ups. Colorado. Where did Colorado place? 6th. They are the same placement as St. Louis, who fizzled on the second round. Why? I mean, their roster-wise, they're probably even better than QQC. I'm actually trying to question, why is QCC so good of a team? Why? What reason does QQC have to be better than everyone else when their roster is about the same as anyone else? Why? And now this is general mystery. Either there's a masterclass of coaching going on QQC, which I do not doubt there is a masterclass of coaching going on there. Other masterclass. Guy owns the league. They've owned the league for how long? But with that roster, they should nowhere near be where they are. Nowhere near. It really makes you think. What are other GMs doing wrong that Quebec is doing right? What did Colorado do to make such a run? What did Newfoundland do wrong? I'm not a franchise hockey manager. I don't know the basic things about that engine. But QCC's average, roster's average. Their results are the best. Why? Oh, if this is your roster, hold on. As your time goes on, your roster is supposed to get good, and then it kind of plateaus a little because of caps. Here, fundamentally, in J, mid earners are the same as top earners. Is that the secret? I doubt it is. QQC, like, try to put a point in quality. Let's say that this is quality. QQC This is time. This is overtime. QQC's this would be quality roster. In time left, QQC's roster seems to be here. It's a lot of mid-stage development players, but they are all the way at the top. Their goodness and the time it's taken is here. Newfoundland is here. Their roster should have them here, but they're down here. QQC's roster should have them down here on the line. That's how rebound's supposed to go. You're on the line. Why? Why is QQC up here and Newfoundland down here? Roster-wise, each of these teams is under or overperforming. There's something going on. Maybe you can call this a fluke. This down here. Because of regular season, they're pretty much right here. But they were still not here. QCC is here. How is QCC here consistently? The roster should not be up here. Regular season rosters should average out logically. This did not average out at all. This is not average. This is an anomaly. I suggest other GMs figure out what they're doing. Stop this, because this is insanity. This is insanity. Logically, if you take this down here, if they had a roster here, they would actually be mid. For them to be mid, they would need to have basically a 150 roster. And they would still outperform most teams. Now, let's talk about something I am passionate about by Jay. I haven't talked about in a while. It is the mid-earner conundrum. Let's say I am this evil GM, who only cares about one thing, and that is winning. Let's say I'm a GM that only cares about winning, and I'm in the J. Alright, I get my brush right. The J has caps. So this is a player's growth in the J. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4. Now, sometimes the player's development can vary, but sometimes they'll reach the peak here or here. They might reach the peaks earlier, but there's caps, limits. Now, a max earner might go too far. Might go a max earner might go like cap, cap, cap. Instantly, near instantly, cap. Except for the first season where that would take. Yeah, let me adjust this. It's not correct. It's more like bang, bang, bang. It's more like that. Instantly it caps at each search. But let's compare this to a mid-earner. Mid-earner will be like this. They got to those peaks a lot less than the max earner. But in the end, this might be midway through season 3, but it's still before playoffs. They still have a full season of 425. What's the difference, other than locker room, a mid-earner versus a max earner? There's none. You're not You're not a JGM. You're not a Major League GM who eventually. Let me adjust this so you can see what these players will look like in forever. Let's expand this to show what actually over a longer period of time. This is going to be upsetting. A much longer period of time. This is a much longer period of time. This will be the creep paths. Black will be max earner, red will be mid earner. You know, this is 13 seasons. So it's like season 1, season 2, season 3, season. Wait, so season 1, season 2. They're at the cap. Then they'll go up, and then they'll stay at the cap until the end of J. This is the end of J. I'll just make this kind of dot. That's the end of J. This will be the mid earner. It's kind of meanders along, reaches the cap, and then goes cap. They'll reach the cap a lot later, but they'll reach the cap midway through season 3. And then they'll have a huge jump up from all that J thing, and they'll just kind of continue. Right, that's too much brown. They'll have a jump up, and they'll kind of. And then they'll regress, and so on, so on. Regress. This is a max earner. They'll have a huge jump up, and then they'll keep going way up until they're off screen, and then they'll regress, and then they eventually retire. This is all irrelevant for J. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. If you're a JGM, all of that's relevant. This mid armor will be a role player, maybe even a high scorer, high line. Depends how much media they do. This guy, superstar, core of the team, most important player. But for a JGM, it doesn't matter. This. Hold on. I did this completely wrong. This. Hold on, how do I mess with this? This little section is all that matters. And the mid earner will be slightly behind, but then it'll catch up. Your core should be made of mid earners. There is no J superstars. There is only good. And this guy is good enough. If you want to have consistent J success, this mid earner is the key for championship success. However, you're talking about locker room activity. That's a different story. Locker room activity. This guy the mid earner will on average be the larker. They're not too into it. They'll be, talk a little, I'll be here. The max earner is driving your locker room. It's the force that keeps people talking, makes people talk, makes people want to talk. This is your locker room guy. So what I'm proposing here, and this whole little off-center, is you get 1 or 2 max earners. If you want to be competitive with Slava Locker, fine. Just get 1, get 2, and that's all you need. That's all you need for a while. Because 1 or 2 can drive the bus, can drive your locker while getting all your mid earners. You know, third and second round picks, late second round, early third round. If I was a GM, that's what I'd be training for. Get 1 or 2 locker room guys. The rest, get a ton of mid earners. If you get a ton of mid earners, you will win championships. All right, next subject. I think that will be all for today. I had a great short little podcast. I'll talk to you guys later.